Imagine you're taking a quiet walk through a dense, dark forest. You step into a clearing and see something impossible, a massive, glowing, translucent ball sitting right in the dirt. You'd immediately want an explanation. If a friend told you there was no reason for it being there, that it just existed, you wouldn't buy it. Our minds are built to assume that things don't just appear without a cause. Philosophers have a name for this instinct: the principle of sufficient reason. As this chart shows, it's the idea that for every object, every event, and even every true statement, there must be a specific reason why it is the way it is. This simple detective mindset is the starting point for the biggest debate in history. We're taking that same curiosity we feel about the ball in the woods and applying it to the entire universe. Let's scale that question up. We're leaving the forest behind and zooming out past our atmosphere into the deep, silent expanse of space. From out here, Earth is essentially just a giant, isolated ball sitting in the dark woods of the cosmos. If we demand an explanation for a small, glowing sphere in the woods, logic suggests we should demand one for this much larger sphere, too. If the universe exists, something must have caused it. This search for a creator treats the universe like a logical puzzle. It's an attempt to find the very first piece of the why that makes the rest of existence possible. One possibility is that the universe has no beginning at all. Imagine time as an endless chain of dominoes toppling backward into the dark, forever. But look at the top timeline on this diagram. If the past is infinite and has no starting point, we would have an endless number of dominoes to cross before we could reach today. Logically, we never would have arrived at the present moment. These frameworks track that logic. One suggests since the universe began to exist, it must have a cause. The other argues for a world of dependent things to exist. There must be at least one self-existing thing at the bottom of the chain. To make the logic work, we eventually need a first cause, something that starts the whole chain but doesn't need a cause itself. For thousands of years, people have looked at this necessary, uncaused starting point and given it a name: God. But that conclusion creates a massive friction point. If the first cause is an all-powerful, perfectly good creator, why is the world full of suffering? This is the problem of evil. It points out the tension between a loving God and the reality of innocent pain. As the text here suggests, if a creator has the power to stop evil but doesn't, it challenges our definition of goodness. Then there are the brain breakers, like the omnipotence paradox. It asks if an all-powerful being could create a rock so heavy they couldn't lift it. If they can't make the rock, or can't lift it, the very idea of unlimited power starts to fall apart. These contradictions happen when we try to apply human concepts, like power and goodness, to a cosmic force. These logical knots are exactly why many people find the idea of a creator impossible to accept. To address these issues, philosophers have proposed several solutions. Some argue that having the free will to choose good is only possible if we also have the freedom to choose evil, or that suffering is a tool that shapes the human soul. Let's bring it back to our translucent ball in the woods. When we clear away the loudest arguments, we find a shared foundation that is often overlooked. This chart shows a surprising point of overlap. Science and religion both reject an infinite past, landing on the need for a definitive first cause. They just use different names. Science calls that first uncaused event the Big Bang, and religion calls it God. Philosophy gives us a way to organize our curiosity. It is how we continue the human tradition of demanding to know why about the giant glowing ball we all share.